morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo First. Here I'm temporarily substituting for Rabbi Reuben Levitt. This is his shir Nefesh HaChaim, Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, in Yerushalyim, HaKodesh. We are in Shar Aleph, in Perek Het, the ninth Perek of the first Shar of Sefer Nefesh HaChaim. We're on the page Sadi Ches, and it starts with the first paragraph, Amnon.
Amnon b'mei Shlomo, he said in the days of Shlomo, Shehayu klal ha'mon Yisrael, that there was a general rule applying to the Jewish people, tzarichin, that it was necessary, umuchrachim, lintos ma'at, something a little bit. I don't know what muchrachim lintos is.
Okay, they were forced, muchrachim, they were forced lintos to veer or diverge or incline ma'at el tzad ha'esek ha'parnasa. They were forced to be inclined to the aspect of life which involves asik parnasa, making a living, earning a livelihood.
Only in the times of Shlomo?
So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to see more in the brachas a little bit. Yeah, based on what he's saying now, up until that point, there wasn't such a at least this. It seems that there was a majority of people who are now doing this. There was a majority of the people, the masses of Christ, who were doing this. Maybe in previous times it wasn't such a large
number. What has to do
number.
with the building of the Beit HaMikdash?
I'm not sure.
Didn't he have like 60,000 people working on that?
Yeah.
Maybe that was
Could be also. Could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al kol panim, in any case, kedei chaye nefesh, in order to maintain one's life.
Sure, just to maintain life, exactly. Meaning they were forced to be involved with making a living, at very least, in order to just keep themselves alive.
Shezeh ikar amitas. This is the essence of belief.
Well, we're going to try to finish this sentence.
Amitas ritzono yisbarach l'da'as Rebbe Yishmael.
Okay, that's what he said. Okay, so that's the ikar amitas ritzono yisbarach, that l'da'as Rebbe Yishmael. I mean, according to the opinion of Rebbe Yishmael, this is the primary, the truthful primary desire, will of the HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that people should at least take out some time to be involved with making a living, that they should have what to live with. Moving on.
Interesting. The Savar, the Rabbim, Tefei, Arich, the Me'avad, Hachi, Uchmo, She'amru, Be'avos. So it's, where did I start? Rabbi
Yishmael. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. Here's Roy.
He did come.
This is the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael.
That he held that the majority, for the majority it's appropriate, the Me'avad, I'm not sure.
The Rabbi Tefei Orich, that he was of the opinion that for the most of the majority, it's proper to do this. Meaning that they should take out time from their learning and make some efforts in earning a living.
And like this, it was stated by the fathers?
In Avos, in Pirkei Avos. That's reference to Avos. Avos is a reference to Pirkei Avos.
Okay, so this is stated, this principle that it's appropriate for a person to earn a living to a certain extent is stated in Pirkei Avos. Quote, Yafeh Talmud Torah Tidun Derech Eretz Kula. It's beautiful to study Torah with Derech Eretz, earning a living in this case?
In this case, the definitions of Derech Eretz vary from context to context. In this context, we're talking about earning a living. Correct.
V'chol Torah she'ein ima melacha kule. In all the Torah, there is not with it working.
Yeah, all right. Actually, to know what it's talking about, we really should see the full quote. But let's leave that for now. But in terms of, let's just deal with the first quote. Yafet Talmud Torah Derech Eretz. So based on this statement, I mean, we have to realize what's the ikar, what's the tuffle, what's the primary, and what's the secondary. Right? So based on the expression that's used, Yafet Talmud Torah Derech Eretz, right? So what would you say is the primary? What's the secondary?
Talmud Torah is primary.
That's primary. Right? So no one's really suggesting that Derech Eretz making should be primary.
Right.
We don't see that suggested. Right? The only thing that's suggested, right, is that if there's going to be Talmud Torah for various different reasons, it should be at least backed up to a secondary extent with some Derech Eretz.
Right. We're on Tzadi Chet. Page Tzadi. Oh, you don't have
There's
to
a
see
different
page.
paging, yeah. Chapter Shar Aleph, chapter test, the 9th paragraph. Usually it should be about the second paragraph. Second paragraph. We're quoting the Yemei Shlomo and Pirkei Avos. Over there, you have to see the translation for you there? So now we have to look at the Gemara here in the Brachas. Yeah, we have to look at the Gemara here. Lamala? בסוף. כן.
מה זה כאן? איזה משרד?
זה שיר עכשיו.
מה?
שיר בנפש החיים.
נפש החיים זה ישיבה? מה זה?
ישיבה, כן.
למעלה יש?
כן.
תודה רבה.
בבקשה. Yeah, so we made a statement here, right? I'm going to be made Shlomo Hayeklau Amon Yisrael Shrikim Le'Rufakim Nintois Ma'at El Tzadeh Esek Parnas. How do they say at the time of Shlomo Melech that the masses of the Jews had to involve themselves to some side, some way or another, to some way of making a living? Yeah.
It's interesting they use the word malacha though. Usually it's avodah for a livelihood, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
No? Okay. Good.
You can use can good garlic.
Not unusual.
No, not unusual. Okay, here we have a Gemara in Brachos, Daf Gimel on the base. Let's see. One, two, three, four, 6 lines up from the bottom. Middle of the page.
Caveman?
Yeah, the 3 1. Yeah. You can read that if you want.
Caveman she'ala amod ha-shachar nichnasu chachamei Yisrael. Since that they ascended and stood and entered the wise people of Israel.
Well, okay, this is a phrase. Kevin she'ala amad shachar. At the time of Allah amad shachar, the time of dawn. Amad shachar, that's dawn. Yeah, so Kevin she'ala amad shachar. Since at the time when it came for dawn, Niknasu HaKodesh Israel, the sages of the Jewish people came to David.
To Daven?
David came to David. This you didn't mention this is talking about David and Melech. We're talking about David and Melech. They came to the David Yisrael. Etzlo, meaning they came
By him.
by
Near him.
who's that? That's David.
By him in this Daven, I see. Amrulo, they said to him, Adonai nu, our master. Ha-Malach, the king, Amad, stands, Yisrael.
This is Amcha, meaning
Amcha, your nation, Israel. Tzrichim needs Parnasa. They need livelihood. Amar lahem, he said to them, Lechu v'his raf nasu zeh, mizeh. Something each person has to do something.
so it's like this. So they said that Adonai HaMelech, our master the king, Amcha Yisrael Shrikin Parnasa. They said your people, right, the Jews need sustenance, they need livelihood. Okay? So David said to the sages, Lochu v'nis parnasoi zem ezem. The same word as parnasa. Let them go ahead and do business with each other. Let them do business with each other. They need money. The way to do business is to do business.
Amrulo, they said, the sages replied to David HaMelech, Ein ha-kometz mish
That's a sin. Masbia.
es ha-hare
Ha'ari.
ha'ari.
So it says HaChaim. That's like a bushel of straw. So he said a bushel of straw is not going to satisfy a lion.
Aryeh.
Yeah, Ari is a lion.
Aryeh, the lion. So in other words, they're saying it's not enough.
Right.
They can't just do business with each other.
It's not
enough.
It's not going to be enough to make pornosa.
Ve'ein ha-bor mismaleh, and a pit filled mecholiso, and a pit filled with something. I don't know what.
This is Machalioso is a pit is not filled up Mechalioso from its rim, meaning when when a person digs a pit, So if he wants to refill the pit, he's going to need more to fill the pit than he dug out of it.
Ah, right.
So a pit's not filled up from its
contents.
Yeah, its contents. Exactly. Yeah, its contents. So they told them basically two things, that it's not whatever what you're suggesting that they do, right, to do business with each other, to give them their parnasa that they need. That's not going to be enough to take care of the needs of Klal Yisrael.
Sorry, this is in Brachas.
Brachas Dav Gimel Amid Beis at the bottom.
Gimel. Beis.
Amar lahem, he replied to them, L'chu ufishto yadechem bigador miyad yotz.
So that's so Amar Lahem.
He said to them,
So he said to them, so he said to the sages, let them go and send forth their hands. Pashtu is to send forth their hands, through violence.
through violence?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they should make war. Let them go out and make war. There's not going to, if business is not going to be satisfying enough for the people's needs, let them simply go and pillage and conquer.
Miyad yotzim, from the hand of those who go out, be'achitofel. With Achitofel, Achitofel is a person, right?
Yeah, that was Achitofel, right? He was one of the sages.
From the hand of those who go out with Achitofel, v'nim lachim, and they will make war?
Well, it's like this. They said, so after they heard this, that David the Melech had told them, gave the message that the war should begin, right? So Yotsu Mi'achitoifel, they took counsel from Eitzah. They took counsel from Achitoifel, meaning in terms of what strategy to apply, right? What strategy to apply. And Nimchlu this and they made a decision with the Sanhedrin, right? They asked the Sanhedrin if they had permission to go, right? And then Sholim U'Betunim, and they now asked the Urim Betunim if they would be Matzliach, if they would be successful.
Mm-hmm. So they check with David, they check with the Sanhedrin, and they check with the Urim Betunim.
Achitoifel, David gave the command. Right, David gave the command. After the command was given, they now developed a strategy with Achitoifel, who was the high counselor. And then after they had the counsel of Achitoifel, they went and got permission to wage war from the Sanhedrin. And finally, before actually waging war, they went to ask the Urim Betunim if they would be Matzliach or not.
Amar Rav Yosef.
Okay, so let's leave it for now. The best of it. So what do we see from this Gemara? The reason I'm bringing this Gemara is we see that there's a need for a parnasa on behalf of the Klal Yisrael even before the time of Shlomo, even in David's time.
Right.
So I don't know. So why we're actually singling out the time of Shlomo Melech as being a time when this was particularly unusual, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't really have a clear answer to that at this point. We'll have to work on it some more.
Is it approximately 6 lines from the Bible?
Yes, right, exactly.
3, 4, 5, yeah, exactly 6 lines.
6 lines from the Bible, exactly. Precise. Okay. So we have that.
You have that stira.
Right. So I'm not sure. I don't know what that seems to be saying here in the Sefer Nefesh HaChaim. That seems to be something unique to the time of Shlomo. But okay, I don't know how to work it out. Just wanted to realize that as well. Okay, let's continue on with the Nefesh HaChaim.
It's the most
Right, so it says here, we're recording from Pirkei Avos, Yofe Talmud Torim Derech Eretz. Right, so as I was mentioning, based on the structure of the phrasing, you have a question: what's primary and what's secondary? So it says Yofe Talmud Torim Derech Eretz, right? Oh, yeah. So you take the safe with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The AC just stopped. They never change.
I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Keep the cold air coming.
Well, Baruch Hashem, I know that enough hot air comes from. So yeah, we gotta balance, you know.
So then I'll tune you into what we're learning here. We're learning about just quoted. Nafshi just quoted the Mishnah in Avos. Yofet Talmud Torah im derech eretz. Right. So people seem to use this as an excuse that they can go out to work. Right. Yofet Talmud Torah im derech eretz.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, it says it's yofet. It's like proper. Or it's good learning Torah, along with, in this case, making a living.
Okay.
Right? So, look at the sentence. Yofet Talmud Torah im derech eretz. Right? So, we're analyzing the statement in terms of what's primary and what's secondary. Right?
Okay.
So what would you say? You've already told us what it is, but since you weren't here, so I'll give you the chance to. If we would say something's going to be primary and something's going to be secondary, based on the structure of the sentence, what would you say is primary and what's secondary?
Okay, so tell me the sentence again, please.
Okay, if you want to look inside, then we're on the top of the page, you see Tzadi Ches.
Got it.
Okay, it starts with Amnam, the first word is Amnam in the line. So we're 3 lines into that. It's actually the last word on the third line.
Okay.
You can read it if you like.
Yafeh Talmud Torah im derech eretz koi.
Okay, let's stop. Roy, you wanted to make a
Yeah, I was
comment?
just wondering, so the question is, what comes first, Torah study or earning a living? Is that the question?
Well, not what's primary. That's the first or secondary. That's another question. I mean, what's primary, right?
Primary doesn't mean first.
No,
What's
because
more important to you?
yes, that's right.
Alright, so what's more important?
What's it say first?
Oh,
Talmud Torah.
And that would be my guess.
right. Okay. No agrees. Yafet Talmud Torah im derech eretz.
What's the first ingredient? That's what it's got the most of.
Oh, so it's like I tell you, it's good French fries with ketchup, right? What's the main thing?
The good French fries.
The French fries. The ketchup makes the French fries better, right? But the French fries is the primary. That's what you got in front of you, right? Right.
I would agree with Lou.
Derech eretz means?
In this context, it means making a living. Making a living. Whether a lot or a little or whatever it is, making a living. Right? So sometimes not only sometimes, many times you'll see people use this as an excuse. I got to go out to work, right? So, but like what? So let's look at them a year down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, right? So you started off your exit from the yeshiva was because you got the Talmud Torah and derech eretz, right? So okay, a year later, so where's your Torah? I'm too busy studying, right?
Too busy working.
Studying, too big studying.
Studying what?
He's getting a master's. He
Oh,
wants to become an accountant.
I see.
Not too busy studying, right? So, and that's a year later, 5 years later. So where's your Torah? I'm too busy trying to open up the firm, you know. I got myself a property. 10 years later, you know, where's your Torah? Too busy managing the place, you know. So, you know, what was your exit from Yeshiva was because of Yafet Torah, Talmud Torah, and Derech Eretz, right? So always, a lot of times you see a lot of Derech Eretz, but where's the Torah? Right?
What's Derek Eretz?
Literally, Derech Eretz means the way
path
of the land.
Hashem, or the
No,
way?
Derech Eretz literally means the way of the land. But that means a lot of it could be. Sometimes it means common sense. Sometimes it means marital relations. Sometimes it means, in this context, it means making a living. But the Derech Eretz means different things in terms of the context.
And what does Talmud Torah mean?
Learning Torah.
Learning Torah. So we're talking about Talmud Torah and the way of the land. That's what we're talking about?
That's right.
Okay.
So we're saying basically that it's good learning Torah with the way of the land. The way of the land is, you know, so you make a living. But the way of the land is you have to spend, you know, from the time you're 17, a freshman in college, till the time you're 65 retiring, you know, if that means, you know, except for maybe Shabbos, you know, you fly in from Manhattan to Muncie, you know, 10 minutes before Shkia, you know, to maybe take a shower before Shabbos comes, because your boss says, well, I don't know about this Jewish thing about leaving early on Friday. So Friday's a work day. What are you talking about? Right? You got Saturday and Sunday off, but Friday off also. Right? Half the Friday off also. So just gotta finagle with the boss to get out early on a Friday, because otherwise how's he gonna get back home? 2 hours, you know, fighting traffic, 2 hours north and from Manhattan to Muncie, how's he gonna get back? You know, he can leave 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, how are you gonna do that?
But Rebbe, isn't it relative? Okay, what Talmud Torah is for me is not necessarily what Talmud Torah means for somebody else.
True, right? But again, like it's Talmud Torah, even Derech Eretz. The primary thing is the Talmud Torah. Right? Again, if you're talking about a guy who can't learn, you know, anybody can become an accountant, can become a lawyer.
I disagree. Not anybody. You gotta have something to be able to learn and spit back what they teach you. You gotta have some sense.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can be an
not so
accountant.
easy, Rick.
I'm not saying it's easy, but if they can
That's a whole different
They
case.
can pass a bar exam, if they can pass, you know, an accounting, I mean, they can learn Torah.
I mean, they know something.
They can't say they don't have the head for it.
I see.
They can't say they don't have the head for it.
But for some guys, an hour a day may make him a Talmud Chacham.
Well, I mean, that would be like saying, you know, an hour a day of medical school make him into a doctor.
But does Roger Federer need to practice as much as the 12-year-old that hasn't learned how to play yet?
Yes, more.
Who's
You could
Roger
be beaten
Federer?
by it. I think that these definition businesses, there's a standard definition, regardless of your ability or the way that you wish to be or anything like that. There's a standard there. So the Talmud Torah is just that, and that's what it means. It might mean something different to different people, but it's basically the Talmud Torah is Talmud Torah. Learning Torah is learning Torah. Full stop.
Right, we're not saying you have to be a Talmud Torah. We're not saying you have to reach the highest level of learning. HaKodesh Baruch Hu loves anybody who's going to sit and learn is loved tremendously by HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Whether his achievement, how much he's going to achieve, How professional is he going to be is another story, right? You know,
You can say the same thing for the livelihood. You
You
don't
know,
have to. You don't have to become a workaholic and work good.
exactly. That's exactly the point, right? That's exactly the point. Then what? The HaKodesh Baruch Hu can't give you what you need without having to go to law school and become, all that is, all that takes.
Right.
When, you've got, that's what you have to do. If you feel that you need to work, if you need to do something, so try and find something which can maintain a rigorous, constant learning schedule, and supplement that with what you need to make your ends meet.
Right.
The question is whether it's possible or not. So that's another question. How to go about doing it. If it's possible, what kind of things yes, what kind of things not.
So
rob a bank once a month, learn the rest, rob a bank once a month, right?
I think you take that off the table.
Well, I have this debate with my son.
Yeah.
I'm saying that his finances are very tight, and it seemed to me that he could get himself into a situation where he could work, let's say 3 hours a day, and still learn, 8, 9 hours a day. That would be full-time learning, and be providing for his family.
What does he say?
He doesn't want to do it. He wants to learn 14 hours a day,
Right.
which he does. I give him credit.
Yeah.
He decides, he's got like night Seder and then after night Seder.
Yeah.
But he's got 4 children and they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And it's, it's very, and even then it's tight.
Yeah. Right.
And I help him.
Yeah.
I do help him.
Very good. So, that when it comes, as you say, Lamaisa, practically speaking. So, again, since if he has the ability to sit and learn that much time and do well, it's a shame to take him out of it. It's a shame to take him out of it.
Right.
It's very commendable, and it's very very needed. It's very needed. So, practically speaking, if he somehow can get things to work out as much as possible, so we should try and continue as much as we can. Yeah. So.
But on the other hand, what about the fact that it's a mitzvah to support your family?
Yeah, okay, so, true enough.
And what about his psychological and emotional well-being? To feel that he's doing his part.
Thank you,
Oh, wow, you are great.
It depends, like again, sometimes like people have the ability to just keep going and they're working on their moon and they're talking about it or they actually, it's strengthened or they get stronger and stronger. Sometimes people get into situations where they're finding themselves worrying more than their mind is more preoccupied with what's going to be.
Right.
In which case, it's counterproductive. So you have to be careful. You have to monitor the situation, be honest, consider himself and with the family, see exactly.
Right.
Sometimes, students can come up, maybe if you tutor, take on some type of a teaching position or something like that.
See, the problem in his particular situation is that he's soft-spoken and shy. So I can't really envision him becoming a teacher, even tutor. When I talk with him, I have to say, what? Very frequently.
Yeah.
Because my hearing is not so good, so that's not necessarily such a point, but he talks very quiet. And on the other hand, he's very, very smart when it comes to computers. I think I told you that when he was in Yeshiva, he went by in his own time, and he was very, very top of his class. But on his own time, just because for curiosity, he taught himself how to program and wrote some programs that were very good. So, and we're in an environment in Israel where high tech has a very, very strong need. And there's a desire on the part of the government to get parading into the workforce. So, I think he could easily, now he might have to put himself into it for more hours a day than he wanted to for, like, let's say 6 months to take a training class and get started. But after that, I can see him working, 3 hours a day and making a really serious amount of money compared with what he would get as a teacher, even if he could do it. So, to me, for him, it just makes a lot of sense to take that kind of approach. And it seems to me like Hashem is offering it to him.
Okay, it's guided properly. Depends a lot on the situation in this family, what they both want.
Well, what do you think Torah in Derech Eretz speaks to him and says that he should be doing something, at least a little bit?
So, maybe let's continue learning, we'll see. That's
okay. All right.
Let's continue learning.
So direct you to these passages.
Oh, he's probably learned all this
Direct you to it
himself.
That's quite a little bit.
I mean, he's a must-meet. He's really, I remember I called him up one time and I told him, I'm learning a very interesting Gemara. And he said, which one? I told him, and he quoted me from memory. He said, I learned that in 8th grade, and this was when he was like in, 10th grade or 12th grade or something like that. Oh yeah, I learned that in 8th grade, and he quotes it by heart.
Yeah, that guy you don't want to take out of him.
No, he's definitely learning Torah is proper for him. No question about that.
See, we also have to realize many of these statements were made in times it was possible. As I mentioned earlier last week, they were able to take on crafts, what we call menial labor, to make ends meet minimally.
Right.
And still not sacrifice their learning. They could still be involved with learning, at least mentally occupied with it. Whereas many times in our times, you have to go through, you're busy programming. You can't, it's possible to do both. A lot of times it's really one or the other. So, the way things are set up. Unless, again, like I said, some people, they go into real estate, put out the advertisements, they make appointments, half hour here, half hour there, so make a sale. So it's the general rule in Parnasa, in this way of looking at things, is that you have to do some type of minimum of status. Right? You have to throw your fishing hook into the sea.
Right.
And nibbles you get in there where you really need. And if you bring up a flounder, you got a flounder. If you go for the snap, you get a snap. If you bring up a crab, throw it back in. Or sell it to the goy. So, but again, like, if you, the standard route of, getting a profession, studying to be a professional, becoming that it's not Torah and Derech Eretz, it's Derech Eretz and time. If I have time and energy at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day,
right,
because it's consuming. So the competition, you want to keep a job, It's not simple. It's more easier, it's just real. Because less competition and people are more focused on Torah in general within the Torah.
Right.
Okay, let's see what else he's dealing with these things. He's trying to bring us these things to fore. Let's continue.
V'chol Torah she'ein ima melacha kula. I don't know what that means.
That's a quote. V'chol Torah she'ein ima melacha. It's Goreres Avo, meaning any Torah which doesn't have with it some work associated with it, the person's going to fall to sin. Because as it's explained that the person's going to be too tempted to get things easily through sin than to working for them. But here there's a change between the word derech eretz and malacha.
Right.
And malach is like having a craft or doing some work. Derech eretz is more of like a profession or some sort. Yeah. So what does this mean? Let's continue.
V'chol milei de'avos milei dechasidus ninahu. Anything that's filled with avos.
Well, yeah. Recall merely the avos, all the words of avos,
All the
meaning
words.
all the things that you're taught in Pirkei Avos, right?
Right.
Okay. Merely the chasidus nivu. These are words these are words for the pious, right? For the devout.
Rak shedam be'etz askam bifar nasam. Only
You see, rak shagam, it's meaning like it's on the condition. Rak meaning only, shagam that also. Rak that only meaning on the condition, right? Meaning these things that we're saying in Avos, right, is on condition, right? Meaning don't think these things are taken as your exit from yeshiva, right? Because all these things are being said on the condition. Be'es askam beparnasa. The time that you're occupied in making a living, right? Yehei libom.
your heart, noted, b'chachma, b'hir hur, divrei Torah.
So these things that we're being taught in Avos, which seem to indicate you got a green light to now go out and make a living, these are things being said only on the condition that the time you are going out and making a living, your heart is going to be guided with wisdom and you're going to be thinking about Divrei Torah.
L'chein, therefore, ha'amidu, az b'schiva es ha'keruvim. And therefore, this is standing at first with the Kruvim. The fi ma, in accordance with what she'yiu, that it is, osin, the deeds, ritzono, of his will, shel makom, the Hashem, the will that's consistent with the will of Hashem. Panehem.
So now he's returning to the general, the meta theme of the Kruvim, where they're facing face to face, they're turning away from each other, right? Meaning that when they're facing each other face to face, that means we are doing the will of Hashem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, right, even if they're going to be involved with making a living, but on the condition that making a living is not going to interfere with their learning, right? In some way, meaning they're going to still have that background program. The computers have these background programs always running. Right? You've always got that background program of Torah running, You know, you're not turning that program off. It's always background functioning, right? So that is the green light if you need to go out and do some type of work, right? So you have that always running in the back of your mind. You're still guided by that, right? Or if it's not going to be like that, right, then we're not really doing the ratzon of HaKodesh Baruch. And we're not suggesting you go out and make a living for yourself if you're going to, at the time you've been making a living, forget about words of Torah. You've got to be thinking about the Torah constantly, right? So, again, you're going to tell me, well, who thinks constantly about the Torah? Because that, first of all, takes training. Our minds are filled with so many different things, right? We live in the ADD generation, right? So people can't concentrate on anything, right? So where does that leave us? So because of that, HaKodesh Baruch Hu created these little things you can listen to, sharing on YouTube, watch stuff, you see? Because if we can't do it biologically, at least we'll do it technologically, right? So when we lose the biological ability, so Hashem gives us the technological ability to do these things, right? So then even, like, you know, if a guy is going to be, so if a guy is a truck driver, right, so if he can be saying Tehillim by himself along the way, very good. And you can tune in and listen to shirim, right? So, but like not every job, not every profession is going to lend itself to that. Right? But so if a person is going to go out and he's going to be forced to do that, so he needs to try and look at something that will allow him to do it. Like I said last week, what I used to tell them, say the buck to the buckle. You know, if you want to make a good profit margin and you want to be able to keep learning, you want to sell popcorn and balloons in the zoo. You can listen to shirim all day long. No one's going to bother you, right? You can blow up your balloons and pop your popcorn and make a tremendous profit margin, right? But you don't want to do that. Why? Because he wants to be a lawyer. Right? Why does he want to be a lawyer? Fraud. That's what he's doing. Right? So after 120 years of being in this world and being a lawyer, they're going to ask him sooner or later, right, well, you know, what happened to your Torah? Why couldn't you? You had to become a lawyer. You had to become a lawyer. You could have made a great business selling popcorn and balloons in the zoo. You could have had a concession in every zoo in the world. You would have been making billions. You could have been learning at the same time as well. So, yeah, okay, we'll take a break here for the next year, Mitzvah Shem. It's a hard decision.